The Sword Lance is a large piercing weapon that fits into the not-so-common heavy thrusting sword class. This huge infusible thruster lets us deal pure piercing physical damage where we can capitalize on the weaknesses of some very difficult bosses, and make use of the counterattack damage mechanic unique to this damage type. The Sword Lance is a remembrance weapon. Just defeat Commander Gaius and bring his remembrance to Enya, choosing the Sword Lance as your reward. If you've used another heavy thrusting sword, or for that matter a normal thrusting sword, you'll already know the base moveset. R1s and R2s are thrusting attacks that deal pierce damage. The poise damage is greater than that of base thrusting swords, but the attacks do take longer to perform. The running R2 is a longer animation charge attack that hits multiple times before ending in a final thrusting hit. One thing that did throw me off is the timing of the moves. The animations of the moves, especially the light attacks, are very similar to that of the base thrusting swords. There were multiple occasions where I thought I could fit in another hit or two, and ended up taking damage for my greed. This is nothing bad about the sword itself, just a reflection on how ingrained in my muscle memory the moveset of the Ansper Rapier is. If you are also familiar with the thrusting sword moveset, give yourself some extra time for attacks when moving to a heavy thrusting sword. The Ash of War that comes infused on this weapon is Spinning Gravity Thrust. It is one of the many over-the-top DLC ashes, and has utility in some speedrun skips outside of combat. There is an optional follow-up to the move that is, in essence, a continuation of the first part. The move has you jump up into the air and do a multi-hit spinning attack. The attack ends with you landing by your foe, dealing a decent amount of damage upon final impact. This move does some funky things to your hitbox, as I'll show in a clip here, so the option to weave this nicely into a fight is there. Now, would an Ash like Impaling Thrust, Repeating Thrusts, or Piercing Fang be a better fit for maximizing DPS? Most likely, but Spinning Gravity Thrust does look cooler. Our incantations are the trusty Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength, which will each give us a 15% buff to our damage. I used a heavy infusion on the Sword Lance, so it was buffable with greases. You should change the grease you use accordingly, but Mesmer Fire is still my favorite because of the way it looks. The playstyle is built around heavy attacks dealing pierce damage, buff with your physique, incantations, and weapon grease, and hit the enemy with R1s at every opening. When the opportunity presents itself, send it with a fully charged R2. This boosted, fully charged piercing counterattack will deal plenty of damage and poise damage. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the build videos. Let me know if you've used heavy thrusting swords before, and if so, which is your favorite, and if there's any you'd like me to cover on the channel in the future. For our talismans, we have the Dragon Crest Great Shield for 20% more physical defense, the Axe Talisman for better charged attacks, the Two-Handed Sword Talisman for 15% more damage with our two-handed attacks, and the Spear Talisman for a boost to our counterattack damage. For my physique, I use the Spiked Crack tier for better charged attack damage, and the Opaline Hard tier for 15% more damage negation. Our stats at RL170 should be 60 Vigor, 19 Mind, 35 Endurance to wear heavy armor and perform heavy attacks, 80 Strength to get to the soft cap, and 25 Faith to use our incantations. Keep in mind, this is an improved stat spread from what I was using at New Game Plus 7 in the gameplay footage, so your gameplay will be much easier than what's shown. Heavy thrusting swords are a great category of weapons, and it's great that there are a couple of new ones to choose from in the DLC. The Sword Lance may be a reward for beating a boss many people do not enjoy, but the weapon as a reward makes it all worth it.